You're on CarTorque with Matty J. Another Tuesday night, more car-related topics. In the studio with Alan. What's happening?
Nothing much. Just happy to be here.
Always happy to have you guys on. James from Avis Movies.
Yeah, how you going?
Not bad, mate. And Peter's in again. What's going on?
Same as usual.
Same as usual. That's always good. That's always good. A few topics tonight, which we'll get to. We'll get to the Uber fiasco that's happened in the States. I don't know if you guys heard about that. But the driverless car killing it was a pedestrian, I believe.
I think she was riding a bicycle.
Riding a bicycle, that's it. Yeah.
Can't remember now.
But yeah, we'll get to that a bit later. But really interested to get you guys' opinion on something. Now I saw a late 80s BMW 850i. Did you guys know what they are? Like it was like BMW 8 Series, like from the 80s with the pop-up headlights.
Yep.
Really coupe, yeah. Really, I think a really cool looking timeless car.
V8 or V12.
That's exactly right. Yeah, they came with the with the big V12. Now I know the maintenance on one of those would be absolutely terrible, but I saw one, yeah, like that, James. I saw one of those in the city the other day, and I took a photo of it, and I'm like, bloody hell, this is still a nice looking car.
You get a good one, still around 40 grand.
About that, and 40 grand, that'd probably get you one of the best ones. I've seen some hovering around the 20 grand mark with a replaced engine, but I researched more into them. This car came in with a lot of tech for its time. It had stability control, like this is for the late 80s, early 90s. Obviously with the two different engines, with the V8 or the V12. It was a really good GT car. BMW really kind of don't make a nice GT car like something like Timeless is that anymore. Like I think the cars are.
Are you saying the i8 isn't timeless?
It's different. I'll put it that way. It's different. But I'd still, if I was given one, I'd totally rock one. But I got speaking to my panel beater a while back, and he actually owns one. He's got an 850, which he's just recently repainted in silver. He's had it for, God, I can't remember how many years. He's had it for a very long time. And it is still, I think, like a really, really gorgeous looking car. And in the silver, it's exactly like that, James. Same wheels, really, really nice, just elegant looking car. But I can't remember the last time I seen one on the road. Like I recommend.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I don't either.
I saw one back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah. They were very, very expensive when they were new.
250 grand.
Yeah, that was to get your foot in the door, I believe. But
that would have been the era before the LCT was brought in. So
yeah,
so that's 250.
It's just plain 250. But I saw, I think it's like a dark blue one. It was an 840. So they came with the V8. I took a photo. I had to take a photo of it in traffic because I didn't see one.
It's like a Ferrari on the RC.
It does, yeah. With the rear and the big lights on the back of it. Really, really cool looking car. And it's got bigger wheels, and it was a middle-aged lady driving it, and it looked like I got up next to it. The body was straight. It looked clean from what I could see, and I'm like, that's probably been the last time I've seen one on the actual road ever since I can remember. I've actually never seen one like driving. I've always seen it either seen them parked. I've never seen it any like a Cars and Coffee event or anything. So it was really, really cool to see one of those on the road. I remember watching a Wheeler Dealer episode, and in the UK there's quite a few of them, and they're quite cheap. But they bought one and did a few things to fix it up, and they said it was quite a lovely car to drive. Would you have worked on a few in your time, Peter?
No, I never worked on any. I saw one in the dealership. I said I'm going to buy one of these one day.
Yeah.
It was a white one.
White one?
The only other one I saw was on the road. Businessman was using it.
Yep.
A few people in the car, and his bonnet was popped. I'm pointing at him going, your bonnet's popped.
Oh.
And he's like, nah, don't worry,
You're kidding.
Not my car.
not his car. If only we were able to just say, it's not my car. Don't worry about it.
I've got 3 of these.
But yeah, no, I was really taken back. I'm like, it is still, to be honest, like a really, really lovely looking car. A car that I would actually, if I had a lot of money to be able to afford the maintenance, possibly buy. Because I think they were just again like a really timeless car. They're one of those cars that really stand the test of time.
It's really nice, and it's something different. Like you wouldn't see, no one else would have one.
No,
that's right.
Yeah, like everyone in the Beamer community just does E30s and E46s. I'm kind of sick of them. Like you see them everywhere. But something like that, it's like a kind of a bit of a statement kind of car.
Yeah.
Like it's like this was like baller spec back in like in the 80s, 90s. And it's still pretty damn cool now. And I think that's probably going to be an investment car because you don't really see many of them around. And the ones that you do, like for example, that one was like either really really Mac or not that great in comparison. Look, we're going to get to our first break of the night. We've got Anthony and Reese coming in the studio right after this, so we'll be right back after this. That was the presets with One For You, One For Me, their latest track. I don't know if you guys have heard that song. Really cool. We also like to support Aussie music here on Community Radio. So, coming back, we're now joined with Reese. What's going on?
Hey, Matty. Yeah, good, man. What are you guys up to?
Not much. Just before the break, we're talking about the 8 Series, and then as we went to the break, Peter here's like to me that was like legit like your car that you wanted. And during the break, during the song, you were showing us the latest M8 from Geneva. It's not really an M Series. It's not really, to be honest, not really an 8 Series, is it?
No, it's not. And I think that's the thing that, they're trying to close all the gaps in their range.
Yeah.
Someone in China who is wealthy enough might want one of these to drive around in because nobody else is.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to close, it's like Bentleys have got the SUVs now.
Yeah.
Lamborghinis are looking at SUVs.
Yeah, they brought it out.
Urus,
the Urus, yeah.
So, it's just closing the gaps in those markets that someone potentially might want it who's loyal to the brand. So, yeah, it's just filling the hole.
I mean, we're talking during the break that the original 8 Series, like with that 8 Series in particular, was such a statement car. Like, if you had one like that is a statement. And I think that's something lacking in cars today. Like, because you just see just a Lambo or just the Ferrari, or but I think the only company that really kind of still makes those kind of cars is kind of Aston Martin.
Yeah.
They're like, geez, that's an Aston. Like, wow. Like, you don't see them, but two, like that's an Aston. Like that's
right. Or Bugatti.
Yeah, if you see Bugatti, like, holy crap, that's a Chiron or it's a Veyron.
And the only other car company that I can think of that does something like that is probably Koenigsegg.
Yeah.
That we don't hear. I mean, they haven't got the tradition or the history behind them as some of the other brands like Lamborghinis and Ferraris and I guess even Aston Martins and Rolls Royces. But they've got the cars. They've got the exclusivity.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few cars. I'll take my previous statement back. There is a few cars that are still the kind of statements. Like you get your Maybachs. Like that's a statement car. Like that's you're rolling in it. To be honest with it, when I still see a Rolls, I mean a Rolls to me is still a bit of a statement, but it's not as strong as it used to be.
Yes.
But to be honest, a Maybach, like a S-Class Maybach is like gold. But yeah, like the 8 Series was like a legit way ahead of its time. Just such a classic and timeless piece. I think it would be more than welcome in any car guy's collection.
How about Porsche?
It depends on the Porsche. It'd have to be like early 911s were kind of they're a mixed bag, but like a GT3 RS, like a later model one, yeah, definitely. I just think like we were talking about with the Cayenne and stuff, like SUVs, it's kind of watered down the brand. Or a Carrera GT, which is just like the ultimate in terms of, or a 918 really. Yeah.
So 918s were, when they first talked about it, must have been 2010 or 2011.
Yep.
They released a teaser video saying they've made a hypercar that would get, I think, 2.5 liters for every 100 kilometers. And when they released that, I'm like, impossible. And I don't know, it took them probably 3 or 4 years to bring it out. And they've had it out, but it hasn't gotten the publicity and everything else. Going back to the 8 Series, I think when I think of the 8 Series, the Japanese equivalent, in my mind, is an NSX.
Yes.
From back in those times.
Yep.
And I was like, well, maybe that's what NSX was inspired of. I'm not sure.
But still, NSX is more of a supercar. It's mid-engine. It's got that center linkage. I don't know if you know about that, but like Arden said, it helps like do the chassis tune, and really it was like kind of his baby. And it got a clean NSX is now like over 150 grand, which is pretty crazy for like a V6 Honda. That is the new NSX which you're showing us.
Two of them.
Wow, where'd you see them?
Custom Cars and Coffee.
They were there.
They were there.
far out.
Honda was actually there.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so Honda was there.
So the Nismo you showed, yeah.
And yeah, they had the NSX, probably the only two that have been sold in Australia.
Well, you know what though? I've heard. I was watching Matt Farah's review on that. He did a one take, and he reckons they are one of the best driving cars he's ever driven. Like in terms of power, like it's fast as hell, but like the way it drives is just it's phenomenal. It doesn't bottom out. It never feels not planted. It's superb. And people are like, oh, it's a video game and it's not a real NSX. He's like, forget about what the original NSX was. This in itself is a masterpiece as a car. And I think Honda are kind of coming back now. I mean, their current Civic Type R has got like the front wheel drive Nürburgring record, which is phenomenal. It's faster than original Zonda in the Nürburgring, which is crazy for a 4-cylinder hot hatch. So I think Honda is still kind of flying the flag for Japanese performance, considering Mazda's said no. Toyota's kind of on their way back, but Subaru's been there and abouts. But I mean, Mitsubishi's gone with the Evo that don't exist. No. And they ruined the Eclipse name by bringing it back as an SUV. I think that's just like spat on its grave. So it's good to see that they've done that. But yeah, getting back to the 8 Series, I think if BMW need to really reinvent that car, really bring that car back, because it's one of those cars that are timeless. But the fact is, when you see one, you're like, wow, that's an 8 Series. If I see like a like an M4 or something now, it's like, it doesn't do it for me. It just almost like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, look, we'll move on about the Uber accident. So yeah, okay. So you on your Facebook page on Carloop popped up a post today, and Alan and I were having a talk in your post, and it said, okay, it was one of their driverless Volvos, I believe, and it hit a cyclist.
She was walking her bike.
Okay.
So she wasn't riding, and it said that there was a crosswalk, but she was outside of the crosswalk, away from it. So she technically didn't cross the street correctly. I'm not victim blaming. I'm just saying these are the facts.
Yeah.
And she stepped out in front of the car on a 4-lane road, which is going to be busy.
Yeah.
So I feel like even if the car was driven by a person, it's not something they could have avoided.
Yep.
So I don't think it's a self-driving problem.
Yes. So this is where the gripe is, because everyone's like, oh, it's a self-driving car. Machines are to blame. At the end of the day, if we look at statistics, humans kill other humans more than this has happened. Like, this is just like, I think, one of those freak accidents that the car itself couldn't avoid.
I guess James raised a very good point, and on the back of that, let's take another industry, aviation.
Yep.
Planes used to come down. With autopilot and other things, planes are still up there. And what that means is that, all the pilot has to do is take control when they're taking off and when they're landing.
Yep. That
control needs to be in somebody who's got thousands of hours of experience for them to perform that maneuver.
Yep.
Even though the planes would be able to do it themselves.
Yep.
But during flight, let the autopilot do what it has to do.
Yeah.
It's very similar. So we've gone from manual control to machines in the aviation industry, and that's improved the safety element of it significantly. Now if there's a plane crash, the whole world knows about it.
Yeah.
And how many flights do we have every day? And the chances are reduced significantly.
Yeah, I just think still the whole driverless car thing is still like it's a big thing for us, like as humans, to get our head around. I know Alan's completely against it, and he's sitting over there quietly brewing. Well, I can see you're going to say something. I know what's happening.
What I was just going to say is, if we ever intend on having a zero road toll, it'll be with driverless cars.
Yeah.
I don't think we as people will ever be able to achieve that themselves. No matter how safe we drive, how safe the cars get, whatever changes. I think as long as humans are in control, we will not ever have a zero road toll. So
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah. It's just very interesting I guess I'm very sorry for, the loss of the life and everything else, but it also calls into question who's going to get blamed for this. There was also a person sitting in the car. But
they weren't driving. They weren't driving. Just to monitor.
They were getting Ubered, essentially. Yeah.
No. There was a driver.
Oh, it was a test. Okay.
It was a tester,
to it was monitoring. It was a self-driving car, but there was someone in the driver's seat, not doing anything, just monitoring.
Watching what was going on.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a full trip. It was just a test trip. So, yeah. So who's, is that person also possibly, going to get held responsible? Is they maybe they should have pressed the brake on the car or something like that? And then once again, to the bigger argument later on, when there will be accidents involving self-driving cars, who's responsible if there's a death, especially in this situation? Who's going to be held responsible for this? I
just think it's going to be even harder come with insurance. So, it's your word against the machines, essentially.
It's a scary prospect as well, because it's like the corporate, people are going to blame Uber or blame the manufacturer of the car, and then you're going to have to go up against a corporation who's going to, have lawyers and stuff, and is going to prove, no, it was actually your fault.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bit scary.
It's a big can of worms that's opening up now. And I think it's a real big topic that no one's really spoken about yet. Like no one's really delved that far into. They just be like, oh yeah, it will happen. But it's kind of
these things unfortunately have to happen to I mean that's as horrible as it sounds, and I don't mean it that way, but it's like to get progress can be violent. You have to maybe break things down to mistakes have to happen to work out the kinks. You have to make the mistakes so you can find out what the problems are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I certainly agree with you there as well. As you said, these things do have to happen, because if we don't go into this kind of autonomous vehicle technology, if we just keep things as they are, it's well over 1,000 people that died in Victoria, was it?
It's not like
on the road. So we're not, that's not going to change. People are still going to keep dying.
Yeah.
At least if we do progress this way, we can possibly end up getting that to zero, or at the very least
lower,
lower, significantly lower.
Because it keeps getting higher with human drivers. So at least this way, it'll go down.
I just think we're all too distracted in our own worlds these days. With the massive rise of technology, phones.
Yeah.
Like you see it all the time. If you do this in your cars, if you're listening, now, or if you guys on your way home, just if you're sitting in traffic, look around you, and I guarantee you'll find someone on their phone, 100%. And look, I'm not pointing any fingers, but we've all been guilty of doing it. But it's a fact. We get distracted so easy.
Yeah.
And it's mistakes happen when you're distracted. It's as simple as that.
Overload of information. How many notifications do we get if we put our phone down? If depending on how many notifications you got switched on, we're going to get 30, 40 notifications an hour. Most normal people would, especially for Facebook ones.
Yeah.
So every single one of them is a distraction. If you got your phone sitting there, every time it beeps, you're going to look at it. That means you're distracted. I think the best, what you were saying earlier, Matty, about on the way home, have a look.
Yeah.
Go onto YouTube. A lot of motor vloggers, the guys that have got the little GoPros, they record their videos. Have a look at, there's a guy out of Sydney, Adrian Nickelodeon, bit of an entertainer, but he's been on this campaign for many years now about get rid of the phone, and he will literally pull up next to somebody, knock on the window, get him to pull the window down, and pass them a note to say that his friend died because somebody was on the phone when they ran him over. So he's been on this campaign for many years. So have a look at some of his videos about mobile phones, and he's done compilations of those. Same thing, people do some silly things with their phones and just so distracted.
Yeah.
And it's real, and it's getting worse. So unless we bring autonomy back into this, I guess the irony of that whole story was, I'm not sure if it was XC60 or XC90.
It was some sort of LCV.
Either way, so I think that car itself was rated as the safest car in the world.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
So that is the safest car. So something has happened. Plus, it's got all this autonomous kit in it.
Yep.
So something's gone wrong.
Yeah, I heard about that, and I'm like, it's a bit of a contradiction to the vehicle.
Yeah, definitely.
However, if that was to be processed in court, they would start eliminating everything.
XC90.
They work out who was at fault. It'd be the cyclist. Everyone blames the cyclist, but had someone in the driver's seat braked, it could have been avoided.
But
so you can't rely on the car.
But I think the thing is like, even if someone was driving, it wouldn't have changed anything. I think it wasn't the autonomous thing that was at fault. It was an unavoidable collision.
Time.
Circumstantial.
Yeah.
Well, we've got Anthony in the studio now. What's happening?
Not much, guys. A little bit late, but better late than never at the end of the day.
That's it, mate. We'll get to what we're going to talk about very, very shortly. But yeah, back on this, it's it's unfortunate, but like as you said, James, like sometimes we have to have, as humans get a wake up call.
Yeah,
and like I think that guy, like what you were talking about, Reese, if he's given those people that note, they'll be like, holy crap, I could have killed somebody.
Yeah, and the people who make the autonomous cars can use this as a learning experience.
I mean, yeah, like we can only go forward from here, but at the end of the day, it's still a life lost. But I hate to be be that person, but we need this as a wake up call, and just to say, okay, well, we humans make errors. I don't think the machine made the error. I think I'm not too sure the full deets yet, but like if there's an error there somewhere, and it couldn't be avoided. So
I was initially just going to say, because I spend most of my working day in a truck, we get a very good vantage point. And
oh yeah, you would. Yeah, you'd have the best one, best in the house.
I'd say at least 50% of people around are on their phone. Not constantly, but some of them are just checking it once in a while at the lights. Some people are just texting while driving. I think I've seen one person watch a YouTube video.
I've seen plenty of those.
You're kidding?
Yeah, on the freeway, you'll have people watching YouTube videos while they're driving, and that's shocking. And the thing is, the coppers can't do anything about that
because they're not touching it.
Because they're not touching the phone. I mean, that's how far it's getting, and people are getting distracted by that. So what's there to say if they're watching YouTube videos while they're driving on a freeway doing 100 kilometers an hour? What would you be behind the wheel of?
But I thought if you had like that's the reason, like when you
does that still count as distraction?
Yeah, because when you've got like if you want to get like a screen installed into your car, especially if it's at the front, it has to be connected to your handbrake because you
or bypassed.
Or bypass. Yes, nudge.
The West Coast Customs.
Yes. But like that's the whole point of it, so you don't get distracted. But that's nuts. I can't believe people do that.
And then people have the audacity to sort of say the cops are doing the wrong thing, especially the cops that are on their motorbikes. I think they're the ones that are catching everybody that's on their phones.
They are. I was actually I picked up the Typhoon because I got the brakes and that done, and I was driving home, and I was coming off the freeway, and I was turning right. I was about like a minute from my house, and there's like an underpass bridge. Anyway, I'm creeping up, and it's a bit of traffic there, so I'm stopping the traffic. This cop on a motorbike came up slowly, just looking inside the car, just going past each and every car, just having a quick peek. And like my phone was on the seat, like I don't touch it when I drive, but I'm like, fire it. If I would have just checked my phone for like that split second, I would have been done. And you know what? I would have deserved it too, because it's my own fault for being so stupid and doing that. But like I'm just like, you can't see them come. You don't know they're there. They'll come up to you that quick, and then that's it.
Especially when you are distracted, because those videos wherever I think a lot of times it's New South Wales police.
Yeah, they
end up putting up their videos where the motorbike cop just looks at the driver. The driver's still on their phone. It's like 10 seconds later they're still on the phone. It's a tap on the window.
Pull over here, mate. We're gonna have a chat about why you're on a phone. Yeah.
But I think it's not enough for people to not be on their phones because they're afraid a cop might see them. They shouldn't be on their phones because it's dangerous and they shouldn't be doing it.
That's the big issue.
So that's the thing.
I think a lot of motorists don't understand that you can't even look at it while you're stationary because you're still in control of the motor vehicle.
Exactly right. And I think I mean, if you have it in park and handbrake up, it still doesn't matter if you're on a road. I just think, just don't do it. It's beyond it's not worth killing yourself or killing others.
And if we put the danger aside, while you're stationary, that you're using your phone, 9 times out of 10 you're going to miss the light screen.
Yeah.
So you're just inconveniencing other motorists.
Yeah. Because
you're going to be distracted. If you're looking to the light and straight to your phone, you're not going to be paying attention to your phone either. So you're wasting your time. It's just if you're not endangering people, you're at the very least inconveniencing them.
I remember, I think I saw a stat. It's like if you're driving at 100 km per hour and you flick it, you have a quick peek at your phone and look up, and you've lost like 100 meters, like in like a space of a second. And I'm like, far out. That's legit scary. That's essentially going blind for a minute because you can't see what's coming.
Well, to put it into perspective, 2008 was when iPhone was launched, 10 years ago.
Yeah. How
have our habits changed so quickly that we are now that distracted by these devices that are in our pockets? It's crazy to see how much progression can be made and how habits are formed in such a short period of time.
I mean, look, smartphones are like an awesome device, but like at the end of the day, just walking down the street, like everyone's just like phone to their face. And
But I remember like someone was complaining. I can't remember who it was. It was probably like Fitzy and Whipper or something. It was one of those things. But someone's complaining. It was like before smartphones, you had the keypad on your phone.
Yeah.
So it's like you could text and drive, but not take your eyes off the road because you could feel the buttons. And he was complaining. He's like, now with smartphones, you have to look at the screen. And I'm like, that's stupid. Like that's still dangerous. But
see, I guess it's one of those things that gets me. I'm admitting to, I guess, technically committing a crime, but my use of a phone while driving is primarily just to say, okay, Google, text said person. Once again, Google activates.
Yeah.
Just to tell Google to text a person that I'm here or on the way.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I do not use my phone.
Yeah.
I already set my music at the start if I'm going to listen to phone music, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it blows me away that, you're going to have a full conversation with a person while you're driving this car. If you really want to, you can call them using a hands-free system. If you need to have this back and forth with the person, that's what phones do. Call people.
Or you could just pull over.
Yeah.
And stop and then make a phone call then.
But it just, the fact that you need to check your Facebook and quickly respond to some kind of notification while you're driving, that I will never understand.
That's going to get worse with people getting onto their probationary licenses. Kids that have grown up with this stuff, that are 17, 18, they get way more notification than I guess what a lot of us do.
I think like an issue with them is like half of them don't even want to get their license anymore anyway. So like one, they don't need it.
Well, yeah,
So,
you'd like to think, with Uber and that sort of stuff around and with more competition, I hope those sort of people don't get behind the wheel.
yeah.
But I think like one of the reasons I like autonomous driving is like so I can play on my phone and sit in a car. And it's like maybe kids growing up who aren't as interested in getting a license. It's like in the future they'll have the opportunity to just sit in a autonomous vehicle and play on their phone.
Yeah.
Which I guess is not great for the car lifestyle that you guys are in for, but it's good for road safety.
It is. Look, we've got to go to another break. We'll come back right after this. So, Peter, get us out to the break, please. We're back on CarTorque. Anthony's back in the main seat. So, thanks, James. Big event coming up this weekend, Anthony. We've got the Paseo ready. It's
Nugget Nationals.
Nugget Nationals. Up at Winton on Sunday. So, basically, if you're a listener of the show, or even if you're not, thanks for jumping on board. We have a race car. It is the 91 Toyota Paseo, which we call Passnuts, or what's the other name for it?
Bobo, because of the registration. Oh, no, that's right.
Yeah.
Bobo, which is the registration due to club registration, so 8080. Referencing, obviously, The Simpsons, for those who are familiar with it.
Yeah, so the first time we took it out, it was a bit of a mess. Had really
Stock standard, other than slotted rotors, which we put on prior to track purposes.
And heavy duty pads.
Yeah, and heavy duty pads.
Which actually took a beating, and they were fine. The car had no fade after repeated laps of just abuse.
On top of that, and very minimal rest time between heats as well, because we did have two time slots that had, I think it was maybe a 5 or a 10 minute break between races, so the car did not have a chance to cool down at all.
I remember James just like looking, he's like, this car is like going to die.
Well, I think out of all the races, you guys had the most runs.
Yeah.
So the Paseo did the most work of any car.
Yeah, well, there were actually 5 heats that get run, Group A, B, C, D, and E, and we had one slot in Group A, and I think it was one slot in C. So it was literally the case of between the next heat, there was maximum of 2 heats before the next race basically was ran, which is basically enough time to get the car into its little parking spot.
Yep. Open the bonnet, let it cool a bit.
Yep. Open the bonnet, let it cool down for 5 minutes while it did its thing, and then basically get ready to jump back on the track again. Let alone between when it was that one lap difference, it's enough time basically to change over and get ready to change driver and go again. Because
you've got to go grid up and get out there.
Exactly.
But this time we're going to be a bit easier on it because we're only doing it in our one group, so it'll be once every, I guess, hour ish.
Yeah, thereabouts. Probably once every 40 minutes or so.
So it'll have a bit more of a break. But we've also beefed up the car this time, so now we've actually got some suspension that works.
Yeah, so we've got some heavy duty coils on there finally.
H&R springs, yep.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, not coils. We don't actually do. We've still got the stock struts that are in there, but just heavy duty firmer springs that are lower, which are going to be better than that from 91.
Let's be honest. The springs like real races.
Please. Dude, the car did the pretty girl rock on every corner, and it was like like this, and it was like, yeah, you know what? It's so not helping us. And cutting the springs doesn't work. My brother's what's it called? Accent had cut springs. You'd go more than 30, and the car would be bumping and jumping all over the road. It was like legit dangerous to drive. My mum drove it on the freeway. She's like, "What the hell is wrong with this car?" She's like, "I almost died."
At the end of the day, as well, I mean, if they are the stock springs as well, I mean, how old are they?
But I think the bigger issue there is like the spring press, like the rate, the rebound rate. Yeah. So like if you're cutting them like uneven on each side, it's going to affect the car majorly.
Everything out. You need to cut it pretty much exactly where it needs to be cut. Otherwise, they're all going to be uneven.
But it also depends if it's a progressive spring. If it's a progressive spring, it should be fine. But
when was the last time you heard a 91 Paseo that had progressive springs?
Yeah, and when was the last time you had a 91 Paseo actually on a racetrack?
In our instance, it wasn't that long ago, but it's not a common occurrence.
But yeah, look, so we've got that. We've got a Momo steering wheel and a Dragon Ball Z shifter. Which
that's got to at least add another 15 kilowatts.
Yeah.
We've now got
semi-slicks
on the tyres, which is going to make a huge difference compared to the Prius, as well as we no longer have Steelies.
Yes, we've actually got some ROH Adrenalines.
Which have been cut back and painted fluoro green just for good measure.
Yeah, so it's going to be legit. We're hopefully going to shave. I think we can at least shave 3 to 4-ish seconds off it.
Yeah, I would even expect maybe a little bit more, because I mean we managed to get under 2 minutes between the three of us. In our runs, I think I had a minute 58 around the track. I think you and Matt were like a minute 55 or 54 or something about that. So I mean, if we managed to get down to a minute 50, with obviously being able to go through corners, going a lot harder into corners due to the tyres, the less body roll going through it as well.
I was just surprised how much time the car lost, like just rolling around in those corners.
Yeah.
It feels so much more like I drove it not too long ago, and it feels so much more planted. It's a changed car, really.
Oh, it's nowhere near how it was beforehand. But I mean, at the end of the day as well, if you're able to go through corners and not have your tyres squealing at you.
They were squealing going straight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but mind you as well, I mean, we still managed to get pretty high up there on the straights as well. I think I managed to hit probably about 140 or 150.
Yeah, I hit over 140, yeah.
Which is impressive, but let alone being able to go into the corners a lot harder now. Obviously within reason, because I mean, let's be honest, it's still a Paseo with no airbags or safety.
I just think it's our biggest thing that we're going to get with this car is the handling. We're not going to get any more performance out of it. It's as simple as that. It's not going to go any harder. I think what we can do is, because it's a real momentum car. So like, if you can maintain the speed through the corners, it'll be mad on the track and in the bends really.
And the best part about it as well, it's got the aerodynamics of a triangle. So I mean, it's a lot better than the other competitors, which are relatively boxy. So I mean, that's a good advantage for us as well. But as I said, and on top of that as well, we've now actually serviced the car.
Yes.
Because beforehand we did change over the spark plugs in it, which were pretty shot, but it was still running the standard oil that we got when we did buy the car from the dealership. So we've now actually got the car service, which was actually due, I think it was end of 2016 that the recommended service was due. So yeah, that was pretty black oil, as you'd imagine, especially after our track event.
Yeah, so we put some good oil in it, and obviously new filter. So she's pretty much ready to go. I'm just keen to like do like a warm up lap and just feel the difference in the corners, because it's so much more stiffer too.
Oh, huge.
I guess after this, like,
have you put a pod filter on it yet?
No, but we were considering it. We were considering it, and the reason why that is our crossover pipe into the air intake was actually split, and we did find. Well, obviously a little bit harder to find at a Wreckers to find a Paseo, I mean, let's be honest.
They don't exist.
Yeah, exactly. But we did manage to find a crossover pipe on eBay from the States that somebody was selling it for $260 plus postage, so I'm like, that's not going to happen.
No.
And we did manage to find then an air intake for $30, with a pod filter. Now, we haven't got around to actually buying that yet. We're probably just going to do an attachment for the moment, but I mean, it is possible and it is tempting.
Duct tape saves the world, Anthony. Duct tape saves the
I
world.
wonder how you'd go rally driving it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be.
You could just rip the handbrake every corner and just see the fronts just going nuts.
Oh, exactly. That'd be fun. Just we'll have one set of lowering springs for when we actually racetrack it, and then we'll have a set of raising springs for when we actually chuck around a rally track with 4x4 tyres.
Peter? Did you actually go to your rally experience yet, or did you?
No, not yet.
No, yeah, because you got to come back and tell us how that goes, because I'm really keen to find out how that goes. But yeah, that's a great idea. Actually, we should just take it on a rally special stage and just have it the shit.
Next thing we'll do the Dakar rally in it, just for good measure.
So they're looking to sponsor, you know.
Yes.
If you're trying to get to the Dakar rally, it's going to cost a bit.
In a Paseo.
In a Passau, come on, we can get a few sponsors going.
Decals and, you know,
It's essentially a white fridge, so please sponsor us.
I think I'm getting a call from Red Bull.
The Passat reminds me of that car where they said, "Dude, where's my car?"
Yeah.
Similar to.
It's
unusual.
It's a very unusual looking car. It's like a coupe, but it's like it had an elephant sat on the front of it, so it's like really really flat.
So this question will determine whether you'll be able to get an additional 50 kilowatts or not.
Okay.
What has it got? A cassette player or a CD player?
It's actually got a CD
player.
player.
CD player.
It's advanced. Actually, it's got Bluetooth as well, doesn't it?
No.
Okay.
AUX.
CD
AUX.
player. I think Super Eurobeat.
Yes.
If I get you the Ultimate Edition Initial D disc.
Dude, if you give me that by Sunday, I will have the GoPro recording in the car, listening to like full Eurobeat.
They probably do a minute 45.
Oh yeah, well,
50 kilowatts straight away.
It's instant, double the power
Instant
it's got.
gains.
Instant gains.
So that'll give it, what, 50 kilowatts?
Well, I know I drove it with the aircon on, and it's like, the aircon takes 9 of the 10 horsepower the car actually does have. But you know what? It's a pretty light car. It's like 800 and so
Yeah,
kilos.
it's less than a ton.
Yeah, so it's definitely it moves all right. Like in comparison to my laser, it'd be right there. Like, and my laser's got a lot more power than it. But
A lot older as well. Sorry, the Passat being a lot older.
Yeah, but the laser's obviously a heavier car. It's got all the safety, like it's got airbags and stuff. Some things that the Passat
Just
doesn't.
weigh it down, let's be honest. Who needs airbags?
But yeah, no, I reckon if we get 3 seconds off, I'd love more. But if we get 3 seconds off, it'd be a really good increase. I mean, you got to remember that 3 seconds in terms of like lap time is huge.
Yeah.
And with those changes, I guess we can only keep going from there. So the next stage we can
Sway bars.
Sway bars. I guess we can start looking at different links and like giving a bit more camber and
how much weight reduction has been done to the car so far?
Well,
Spare tyre.
That's about it.
Yep.
Back seats.
No, they were in there last time.
So we're gonna take them out this time.
we're thinking about it.
Maybe. I mean, there is the effort involved in actually unbolting it.
Yeah, but again, it is probably like 20 kilos in there.
There should be easy access to the fuel pump then when you want to turbocharge them, you know.
Doesn't qualify for Nuggets, unfortunately, turbocharge or supercharge.
E85. Just we'll give it an E85 tune and should be right.
Up to compression.
Up to compression.
As I said, what we need to do is just straight pipe it.
Straight pipe.
I agree.
Yes. It'll be loud, but it'll be fun. But I guess the best part about the Nugget Nationals is like we actually drive it there, and it's cheap motorsport. The car essentially costs us nothing to run.
Mm-hmm. I think it costs us about $40 to fill up for the track day, or maybe $50 to fill it up, because we're on club reg on it. So that's $80 for the year. You got to register with obviously car clubs. So that's $100 for your first year,
And $50 every year.
and $50 after that. And it's like, okay, and you need that's right. Obviously, you need a fire extinguisher in there as standard to actually race the car.
Good old SCA helped me out with that.
Yeah, good old SCA. And then also you need your track license, which if you do a day,
It's like $29.
yeah, or thereabouts, or if you choose to go for the year and race as many times as you want, I think it was like $80 or $90.
I got to buy my one actually.
Yeah,
probably
makes two of us.
Probably got to do that tomorrow or something.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's pretty fast.
I got a spare period. Hopefully, I didn't get an extra, so I can
Exactly.
quickly jump on a bike.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we bought the car for $1,300, and you know, other than modifying it, you're essentially chucking it on the track, and you're good to go for $1,500. You're laughing.
I just think it's like the best form of motorsport because it's so pure and essentially cheap. Like as much as I'd love to take my F6 out there, I wouldn't want to do it because one, I wouldn't trust myself, and two, I wouldn't trust other people. And if anything goes wrong, I'm not covered. And this is a $1,300 car. If I crash it, or if we crash it, it's like let's get another one. Like it's really.
And that's the best part about it. I mean, it's an affordable car for your average Joe.
It is.
If they want to throw a car around a racetrack, and not have any worries or concerns if the car blows up or otherwise.
I just think it's all about getting out there too. Like, I've always wanted to race in a track, and I got with you and your brother, I got that opportunity to do that last year. I mean, I've been down the quarter mile and stuff, but like this was like
it's a different experience.
It's a different experience. This was like I remember gritting up. I was like, I could hear my heart start to pound, and I'm like, this is like it's legit happening. And I got on the track, and it was one of the best experiences I've had. Like,
it's one thing to go karting. It's another thing to actually have a full size car that you're chucking around that has a clutch and gearbox and everything else that's going on, instead of just say a single speed accelerator and brake. Just having that you need to be more spatially aware of everything that's going on. You've got a lot more room, and that. Yeah, you're in a car, the thing that you just drive to the racetrack, that you're actually throwing it around and just hammering it, other than, being as safe as you can be, but otherwise no care in the world. Yeah, it's a great feeling, and definitely something I recommend for you guys to do. And I know you'll get some similar feeling to that when you go on the rally experience, Peter. It's definitely, if you get the chance of just getting out there and having a go, it's freaking awesome.
What's the go with insurance on the track? No insurance, right?
So under ours, we've only got third-party fire and theft on the car. I know that Shannon's offer.
No, they don't.
They don't anymore.
They don't anymore. No. Well, apparently they never did. From what because I'm with Shannon's on the phone, and I called them up. I'm like, yeah. So just out of curiosity, do you guys do track? He's like, is that a common misconception? We've never done it. We don't do it. And yeah, I don't think many insurances.
No,
I don't know if any that does.
No,
to be honest.
The only one that I ever heard was that Shannon's did offer track insurance, and I'm almost certain that they did.
Because I said that to I'm like, I've heard numerous people tell me that. He's like, no, we've never done it. I'm like, okay, that's
But yeah, there would be very few insurance companies that would offer it, because it's obviously such a high risk.
Oh yeah, I mean.
But yeah, obviously, as soon as you go onto a track, there's basically no insurance.
I guess
what you have to do is then get your car towed from the track, put onto the side of the road, and then you call up the insurance company.
Yes.
And say, so you had a hit and run. I mean, don't do that, but that's something that somebody might do.
Advice with Alan.
So definitely get the cold air intake.
Yeah.
In the pod.
Yeah, it'll make it sound good.
Oh yeah, it does.
It'll have a bit of that induction noise, which would be great. Especially because it's so quiet around the track, you can't even hear it go past.
Has it got a resonator box, like an extra?
It's stock. It's stock exhaust. It's got a back box. It's got another middle box.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty muffled. Like you won't be able. Like I definitely think we need to open it up and.
Canon.
Yeah, just get a Canon and well, Alan loved the idea of the straight pipe, so.
No, yeah.
How about we just remove it?
I'll help you do it.
How about we just remove it from the manifold?
Just take it from the manifold.
Just go all out.
The car will catch fire, but that's all right. Yeah. It'll be fine.
It'll sound awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely highly recommend it. It's the best, most cheapest form of motorsport just to get out there. But I also think like on the track, especially because you are getting around with some faster cars as well. Like because to fill in the spots, people bring more powerful cars. It's like it's good courtesy they give you. They know you're in an underpowered car. And if someone's a better driver than you will just like let them pass, and they will be happy. They won't like be up your ass and be deliberate, but they'll give you that time just to get off the road, get off the way. Which is good, especially if they're coming in hot to a corner. You're like, yeah, I'm going to get out of the way of that. And you can just keep your eye in the mirror. So it's something that I've gotten I got to get used to real quick, because I had like Porsches and like Evos like flying past me. I'm like, holy crap, this is nuts. And here I am in like a 10 horsepower car. But once you get your head around that, and it's about that that spatial awareness, you have a ball. My first time out there, I was like, holy crap, what the hell am I doing? I was getting all my brake zones. I didn't have any training, so like I was missing all my brake points, and I was like understeering and then lift off oversteering, which was a bit fun on the second last corner. But yeah, definitely really a really good experience, and I can't wait for this Sunday. It's gonna be
awesome. But even comparative, I mean, go-karts, for example, they still set you back $1,500 for a decent entry level point. And we bought the car itself for $1,500. So I mean, comparative to go-karting, it's cheaper.
It is.
And more fun.
Look, we got to get to our last break of the night. We'll be right back after this. Back on CarTorque. Yeah, so just finalising on that point, definitely, if you're a big car guy and you really want to go on a track, don't miss an opportunity if you can. I mean, it can be a bit pricey, but if you go on it with some mates, you can usually make it a bit cheaper. And I think we got a cool little crew. So yeah, definitely a lot of fun. So yeah, that's the big news. I'm going to be doing like a live feed from there on Sunday. So if you're listening, check our Facebook page. It's CarTorque with Matty J. I'll be there doing a I'll go live again like I did last time, and I might even try to do like a in-car one take around the track, which will be a bit of fun.
Don't use your phone while you drive.
I won't be using. Going to be using the GoPro, Anthony. So.
Well, you said you were going to do it live, so I mean.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, actually, but that'd probably be really stupid.
Well, not really. I mean, if you set up a phone mount and had it attached to the dash, then it would. But you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah. What else has been happening with you guys? Any car updates before we head off?
I may be purchasing an exhaust tonight. There's a 10% off sale, so I'm planning on making the most of it.
Very nice. Turboback?
Yeah, Turboback.
Okay, sick. What brand?
Probably the Ultrex.
Okay, yeah.
That's the most bang for buck as far as I can see.
So that comes with, is it 2.5 or 3?
I think it's 3.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
About to hit a milestone with my 2014 Hyundai Accent.
Ooh.
90,000 Ks.
There you go.
That's as much of an update as I've got.
Round of applause for the Accent, guys. Round of applause, really.
And my car's due for service.
Which means more tune, more power.
Yep. So that'll be that'll definitely be getting a bit of extra work on it. I do want to get the valve springs put in.
They are a barrel weak point.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, at the moment, mine's a 2009, so it has had a fair bit of work, fair bit of driving going on with it. It's got now 130,000 Ks thereabouts. They were getting valve float beforehand. Normally, my tuner Blue Power run about 15 psi or thereabouts, I believe, and I currently think they're running about 12.
Yep.
Because they were getting valve float, which is to be expected as
standard valve springs are old.
Yeah, exactly. It's now 9 years old, basically, the car, so there's a little bit more wear going on with it.
Yep.
But I mean, obviously got the Crow cams
ready to go.
They're sitting there, just need to be installed. And then they'll do their high performance service where they go over all your boost solenoids and sensors and everything else under the sun and put the right filters and right oil going into it and then retune it, and hopefully get some good gains out of it. I mean, I'd be expecting hopefully
300 thereabouts.
That's my goal. If I manage to get there, I'll be over the moon. But at the end of the day, any gain is still going to be a gain. So I can't exactly complain with that either.
Speaking of barrows, did you see Monte Carlo's latest video? I think they just dropped it today. It was like their fastest car versus slowest car. So they put the Cresta against the Miura.
I did see that. I didn't actually watch the video yet, but I did see that did go up.
They're pumping a bit more boost through the barrel, and it got a 960 on the quarter mile, which is pretty ridiculous for an unopened engine. I think at the end they had, because Benny drove it, and Benny's like, it's pretty crazy for a stock block to produce that. It's got like 570 something kilowatts like on the retune on the 85, which is just insane. Shows that they're actually a pretty strong engine.
What did the Miura make?
The Miura did a 17.9, I believe.
That's not too bad.
It's not, its first one was like an 18.3, and then he's like, I'll just dump the clutch, and he dumped the clutch, and he got a 17.9, which is pretty good. But it was funny because when he was racing the Cresta, the Cresta just like waited for him to go away. He's like, I'll catch him now. So he just caught him like real quick. But yeah, that's had some more power put through it, so it makes actually a really good drag car. So definitely hashtag Barra of the world. And I did see a Barra in a
Bird of Crown. I tagged you in that one there the other day.
You did, but I saw I can top that because today I saw one in a BMW 3 E30 in Sweden, and I don't know how they must have they obviously would have imported a Barra over there, and this thing's doing a wheelie like off the line, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty nuts, but yeah, still pretty damn cool. So
Barra of the world.
Barra of the world. What about you, Peter? Any news with your car?
Just did the front rotors,
Yep.
brake pads, and service on the weekend.
Yep. Getting there.
Oil consumption, timing
Yes.
chains. It's a timing bomb.
Yeah, it's
Ticking bomb.
they all kind of do it in those V6 Commodores, or in the later ones anyway. So from piece of consumer advice, because we don't really do a lot of it here. If you are in the market for a VZ to VF V6 Commodore, be careful of the timing chains. They do stretch. It is kind of inevitable, even if you're using good oil and stuff. Just be careful with them. Just expect to get it done when they're due, and then get them done. But unfortunately, it is a very expensive service.
Series 2 and 2012 onwards, you're right.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was the whole way across, but I mean, you own the car, so you'd. But yours is.
I didn't do my homework at the start.
Okay. So yours is a Series 1, isn't it? Yep. Okay. But definitely keep an eye out for that if you're in the market from from VZ to VE Series 1. But it looks like we're out of time, guys. Thank you all for coming in.
It's always a pleasure.
All good.
Thank you.
Awesome.
We'll catch you guys same time next week, 7 p.m. Like and share our Facebook page. It's CarTorque with Matty J. If you've missed any of our previous podcasts, we're on iTunes. Just look up CarTorque with Matty J, or on Chat Engine, or just even if you Google it, it will come up. Ray, do you want to give your new site a plug and Facebook page plug?
Yeah, so Car Loop's just gone up. We're looking for feedback. If you're interested in a new car or any sort of advice on it, jump onto Car Loop AU. Our Facebook page is live, and we're posting quite regularly on there. Yeah, as I said, I've been seeing your posts quite regularly. Alan and I were on there today. And James from Man vs. Movies, give your show a plug.
Man vs. Movies every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Please like and share the Man vs. Movies Facebook page, and rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Shout Engine, and on your regular podcasting app. Cool. So we'll be back next week talking about the Nugget Nationals, how we went. Hopefully the car doesn't blow up, and hopefully we survive, which will be a good start. And we'll come back with some more car related topics as we usually do. But in the meantime, Peter, you can take us out. You can press automation on the inspiration.
And everyone stay off your phones when you're on the road.
Yes. In the meantime, this has been CarTorque with Matty J. Take it easy.
This is professional radio, gentlemen.
And it's front-wheel drive.
Scotty, have you got anyone you want to thank?
Just myself.
And now we do the after hours. Dun, dun, dun.
Gentlemen, what would you go for?
Dacia Sandero.
Okay, and because it's not a supercar.
But it is.
It's not.
Automotive perfection comes in the form of two letters, A and U.
Long live my LTD!